Hey, what's up guys? In this video I'm going to be talking to you about how much I made as a Delta flight attendant my first year on the line. So for those of you who don't know me, hi, my name is Cassandra. I am a certified flight instructor as well as a CFII, so I'm a pilot who trains other people how to become pilots. Before that, I worked on the line as a flight attendant for Delta Airlines. So this channel is all about the world of aviation, so whether you're interested in becoming a flight attendant or a pilot, this channel is for you. Welcome, and I'm so glad that you're here. So let's get into it. So let's start off from the very beginning. So after you go through the interview processes and they say, hey, we'd like to fly you down to Atlanta, you choose your start date, you go down and you begin getting paid for your 2 months of training at Delta headquarters. So everything that pertains to the training is provided. So shuttles, for instance, the curriculum, the books, all that is taken care of for you. Now what you will have to pay for are your meals. So Delta gives you an hourly stipend. For every hour that you are in class, you're getting paid to train. Now, the exact number is eluding me, and it's definitely changed since I've been on the line, but when I was in training, I remember that it was above minimum wage, but it wasn't enough for me to think, wow, that's a lot of money for me to just be training. So I want to say that it was about $9 an hour back then. I could be wrong, and it's definitely changed since I was on the line, but I'm sure that it hasn't changed so much that the training pay is an exponential amount higher than $9 per hour. So let's just say, for the sake of simplicity, that you get paid $9 per hour when you're in class. During training, they break us up into a few teams or groups. So for me, we had the earliest time to wake up, and it was 8 hours of training. And the earliest group started at 7 in the morning and ended at 3 p.m., sometimes 4. But all the while, we were being trained, and that was our pay every single day. And if you like, I can create a video for you guys about the 2 months of training and kind of what to expect, how the curriculum kind of goes. So after training, we get our bases. So once you're on the line, you end up getting paid a little bit higher than $9 per hour. For me personally, I started off with $25 per hour. Now the thing about our hourly flight attendant rate is we only get paid from when the boarding doors close and we begin to fly to when they open again. So once the boarding doors close, that is when we begin getting paid. That's when we're on the clock. And then once they open in our arrival airport, that's when the clock stops. So that's how Delta's flight attendant pay works. And then when we're on layovers, per diem pay will kick in. So some things to account for are, 1, reserves. So when you are on the line, you usually get things called A days, which are your reserve days. So you should be at your home base, be ready to go in case you get a call at any hour of the day. But if you don't get called, you don't get that pay. So that's one of the variables to consider. Another thing to account for is this thing called per diem. Now, maybe you've heard this term before, maybe you haven't, but for those of you who haven't, per diem is simply per day in Latin, which means that you get paid a certain rate per hour. For every hour that you are on the ground, you are getting paid the entire time that you are working. So here's an example of this per diem. Let's say you take off from LaGuardia, boarding doors close, okay, you're up in the air. So you're getting paid your flight attendant rate, and then once you land at Orlando, this is your layover destination. So as soon as the boarding doors open, you begin getting paid your per diem. So you are receiving per diem every time that you are on the ground when the boarding doors open and you're still working. So the boarding doors open in Orlando, you go to your hotel, you check in, you sleep, you're still getting paid per diem this whole time. You wake up, go to the airport, get everything situated, and the boarding doors close. Bam. So now you're getting paid your regular flight attendant rate. And now let's say you fly back to LaGuardia, the boarding door opens, no more per diem because you are home. So you are off the clock and wait for your next trip to get paid again. It's a little bit higher when you go internationally for trips, but not by very much, usually about 50 cents or so. Another thing to take into account is when we as flight attendants are walking through the aisle with our carts and people want to purchase things like liquor, beer, if they want to purchase any specialty snacks, maybe if you're in economy, for instance, and you want to purchase a meal, anything that costs money, where we have to swipe your card with our Delta phones, we actually get a percentage of that. This commission is usually not very much. It's walking around money, it's pocket change. It's very nice. For me personally, I got maybe maximum 75 to 100 bucks extra on top of my paycheck. So it's not highly significant, but it's definitely nice to see, hey, you earned an extra 100 bucks, way to go, champ. And the other thing about this commission is that it's all collective. So let's say that one of your crew members ends up making a lot of sales and you make none. Well, all of those sales that the crew makes is evenly distributed. So we all make the same amount regardless of who made the sale. And the last thing to consider is profit sharing. So what Delta likes to do, if they end up making a profit with their business, they like to share their wealth with their employees, which is awesome. So every year Delta goes through their finances, and if they make a profit, they share it with us. I even remember that when I was on the line, we did really, really well, and there was a profit sharing check that was coming our way to all of the employees, of course. And what we got paid, I believe, was about an extra month's worth of salary. So if you're usually paid $3,000 per month, you get an extra $3,000 just for doing a good job. So now for the finale, drum roll. For me, when I was on the line, I started out making $25 per hour, and every month I made at least $3,000. So my salary came to about $36,000. Now, if you're thinking, oh, well, that's really not that much, I have good news for you. According to this blog, and this resource comes from thesegoldwings.com, and I'll link it in the description, and I'll show you an image right here about the pay scale. As of 2021, the starting pay was $30.96 per hour. But what about year 2? After 1 year, you're going to be making $32.82, about $2 extra, and that continues and continues and continues. And after year 12, you're going to be making $69.59. And another thing to consider with that is I was a flight attendant for Delta Airlines in 2017, so that was 4 years ago. And since then, the pay scale bumped up $5. So I was getting paid $25 per hour. Now you're going to be getting paid $30 per hour. So if everything continues in this direction, you're going to most likely be making more than $69 per hour after 12 years. So just something to consider. Alright guys, so that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, found it useful or entertaining. If you did enjoy it, feel free to give it a thumbs up, feel free to subscribe if you like, and if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. I read all of your comments and really appreciate your feedback. So with that said guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.